Jacob Rees-Mogg, the man who seems to have some power within the Conservatives, some say maybe a future leader. Is he being a bit naughty today, stirring the pot, or is this a serious ultimatum? Yeah, let's use the ultimatum word.
So he said it wasn't an ultimatum, but so what he's done is basically made clear to Theresa May that if she stays close to the EU in the customs arrangement, if she basically betrays the cause of Brexit and stays close to the EU afterwards, then he could consider withdrawing support for her government. Now, it's all about the maths here. Jacob Rees-Mogg probably commands about 62 Conservative lawmakers. That is enough to trigger a leadership challenge. It's not enough to win a leadership challenge. Likewise, even if he were to withdraw support from the government and not support their legislation, that would have an impact on May because she doesn't have a majority, so she kind of needs him and his lawmakers, if you like. But of course, he could end up forcing her into the arms of Jeremy Corbyn because the parliamentary arithmetic is kind of in favour of a customs union, and so there's double bluff all around, isn't there? But Jacob Rees-Mogg has to sort of weigh up just how powerful he is, and with his lawmakers, yes, he can make threats, and there are concrete things he can do, but there are also unintended consequences, and one of those could be a general election, it could be a Labour government, which is sort of softer on Brexit than the Conservative government is, and it could be, Parliament uniting, crossbench parliamentary support for a much closer relationship with the European Union.
So, Emma, how many options are they kicking around right now? I know there's one being called maximum facilitation, which sounds quite scary.
So there are at least two. The most controversial option is basically, essentially the EU would outsource its border control, if you like, to the UK. And both Jacob Rees-Mogg, the pro-Brexiteer, and the EU have dismissed this idea. And so one would think that if those two are both against it, then it probably doesn't have a huge amount of future. But nevertheless, that is still being discussed. And then there is this Max FAC, as it's called, which basically is a much more distant relationship from the EU, but there would be sort of technology that would facilitate that border. But that won't be enough to solve the question of the Irish border. And, of course, every conversation comes back to the Irish border because that is the one intractable issue which no one has been able to solve yet.